Hello everyone, this is Manjyot Kaur, and in this video I would be dealing with a very intriguing question, the answer to which is known by very few. The question is whether managers, supervisors and people doing the clerical work can form a trade union or not. People believe that only the labor, the workmen, that is the employees, only they can form the trade union and not the ones who employ them, that is the employers, which include the managers, supervisors, people at a higher post. People believe that the Trade Unions Act is only for the labor class, but that is not the truth. The answer lies in the very act, that is the Trade Unions Act, and in the judgments given by various courts, high courts and the Supreme Court as well. So Section 2H of the Trade Unions Act says that this section describes the very objective, the very goal of the Trade Unions Act. I mean, why the Trade Act is formed. So the definition says any combination, whether temporary or permanent, formed primarily for regulating the relations between workmen and employers, or between workmen and workmen, or between employers and employers. So this definition does not specify who can form a trade union. It is just written that it is formed to regulate the relations between. That does not mean that the employers can also form trade union. यहाँ पे it's written only the objective, the purpose of the Trade Unions Act. Trade Unions Act क्यों बना है? So it is formed to regulate the disputes or the relations, whatever disputes arise between employers or employees, or employees and employees. So that's the what the definition says. So Section 2G of the Trade Unions Act says that this section defines the definition of workmen, which includes all persons employed in trade or industry, whether or not in the employment of the employer with whom the trade dispute arises. So here lies the answer. यहाँ पे in the definition of workmen, all persons employed is written. So all persons employed in trade or industry does not exclude managers and supervisors. Even these are hired by the company. So all persons employed means that managers, supervisors and other staff is also included under the definition of workmen under Section 2G of the Trade Unions Act. Now there are certain cases, landmark cases, that say that the managers, supervisors, they can also form trade unions. So the very first case is Government Tool Room and Training Center Supervisory and Officers Association versus Assistant Labour Commission. This is a case of 2000, wherein the Karnataka High Court held that when the scope of the word workmen, that is used under Section 2G of the Act, is wide enough to include even the managers, supervisors, etc., the court could not narrow down its meaning, as that would be against the very object of the Trade Unions Act. So यहाँ पे कोर्ट ये कहना चाह रहा है कि जब Section 2G के अंदर ही the definition includes all persons, when the definition is so wide, all persons, it is not distinguishing between the employers or the employees. So the court says that if the definition does not distinguish between the employers, employees, managers, supervisors and the workmen, then why should court distinguish between the managers and the employees? So यहाँ पे by this we can understand that the court means to say that the word all persons used under Section 2G of the Act is very wide enough to include every person who is employed or just hired by the company, which includes managers as well. So it includes all persons employed and does not exclude managers, supervisors and other people. The second case is Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam versus Commissioner of Labour and others. This judgment was given by the Supreme Court of India, and the Supreme Court held that it is not in question whether the workmen are employees or the employers. So यहाँ पे the question is not, the Supreme Court says that the question is not whether the trade union is formed by the workmen, that is the employees, or the employers. The question is why it is being formed. So again this the court has laid emphasis on not the people who form the trade union, but rather on the objective, the purpose for which the trade union is formed. Third case is Registrar Trade Unions Mysore versus Mariswamy, 1974. Again, this was a judgment given by the Karnataka High Court, wherein the court held that a union consisting only of employers could also be formed. And the court held that the emphasis of Section 2H of the Trade Unions Act is only on the purpose for which the trade union is formed and not so much on the members who form it. Therefore, it can be concluded that Trade Unions Act is, the object of the Trade Unions Act is to regulate the disputes or the relations between employees, employers, and workmen, but it can also be formed by employers, which include managers, supervisors, and other people who do the clerical work, or people at a higher post other than the employees. Thank you.